Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back. Last day of this week, day 4. If you haven't already, make sure you go ahead and type your present in the video post for today. Well, let's just get right into it. As usual, open the Replit if you're able to. Wait for it to load. Once it's loaded, this is the program we're gonna be working with today. Your assignment is to do a flow chart that displays this program. So it's gonna be a large flow chart. It's gonna contain a few more shapes than the last one. So let's go through this program line by line. So let's reduce the amount of info. That way it's not info overload. Alright, I only pasted it because I already had it done from the previous classes, so I don't feel like to type it over. You can pause it, this video, about 1 minute ago, so you could type this out yourself. First things first, in this program we got a bunch of print statements. All of these statements are basically info for the user that lets them know that this program calculates two numbers. Depending on what operation you choose, 1 or 2, we're gonna either add or subtract. Trust me, it started as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, but I decided to water it down to just addition and subtraction. So these 5 lines are all prints, meaning these are what are displayed as soon as you run the program. Except for line 7, we have an input, and we have a variable that we have created called operation. Because we asked them to select an operation, we named our variable operation. So when we run the program, it tells us to enter your choice. I enter a number and then nothing happens because there's nothing else after line 7. So now we're gonna go ahead and add back that bunch of code here. Now, what we're doing from line 9 to 15 is we have an if-else structure, meaning we initiate our code if, and we're going to make some comparisons and decide what happens if these comparisons are met. First line says if operation, the number that the person enters, is greater than 2, then we'll print that that's an invalid option, and this keyword here, end, will just stop the program right there. Notice 2 of these lines are found inside the if statement of the first line, and then on line 12 we do another comparison, and when you're doing a comparison, it's always gonna be an if, or in this case an else if, because it follows the first comparison. So we go and check, is operation less than 1? Then we print invalid option as well, and we end the program right there. So what does this cover? Any number that's bigger than 2 is basically 3 and above. Any number that's less than 1 is 0. The whole point of this if-else structure here is to check that the user went and does not go and input a number that's not going to be programmed. We said it in the instructions. Enter 1 for addition, enter 2 for subtraction. There's no 3, there's no 0, there's no negative 55, only 1 or 2. So this if-else structure makes the comparisons to ensure that the user enters a valid option. So if I run this and I enter 5 and I press enter, it says invalid option and the program just ends. The program would end either way since there's nothing else here. One thing to note, when you enter one of the branches of an if-else structure and that branch finishes, then you do not enter into another branch. That's the point of an if-else structure. It's only going to go inside one of the comparisons. It will never go into this section here and then jump into this section here. Alright? So once one route is taken, it's like there's no going back. If you decide to take the left hand path instead of going right, there's no going back in terms of if-else structures. So it's not like it's going to come down here and then go into this one and say, well, is it 1? And then go into here. It checks from the beginning, is it greater than 2? And we're going to test that out right now. I'm going to put negative 65. And it's going to come to line 9 and say, is negative 65 greater than 2? No. So it doesn't come in here at all. It just goes to the next comparison. Alright? So if I press enter, it'll tell me invalid option, and it's gonna be this one. Alright, so it's not the same message as line 10, it's actually the message on line 13. It's just that I have the same message, right? So gonna put a bunch of gibberish there just to make that distinction. -5 option with the ESDF, and in this case 25, and notice first option no ESDF. Alright, so that's the purpose of that section here. After it passes this section, meaning operation was not greater than 2 and operation was not less than 1, let me go ahead and demonstrate that once again real quick, but this time with an actual correct answer. I'm gonna put in 2. And when I press enter, notice it does not print out any of the invalid options because neither conditions were met, meaning I can skip this entire block and continue on with the program as if you were walking up to an exclusive VIP area and you were allowed entry because you are not outside of the range of allowable people to enter. So I'll go ahead and add this part of the code. So if I run this now and I type in 3, which is bigger than 2, it points me to invalid option and it ends. Notice it does not print these out. But now when I put 2, which is a valid option, I am now asked for the first value and I'm gonna be asked for the second value. So the whole point of lines 9 to 15 is kind of like a check. You check to see if the person is COVID-19 free before you allow them to enter into this area of the code. So if the operation is not valid, then you're not allowed past this point here. But if it is valid, you're allowed to run through the rest of the code. And then I can go ahead and type in my values, and of course nothing happens afterwards because nothing has been programmed below here. I'm gonna go ahead and add the last bunch of code now. Now this block of if-else structure does something different. This is no longer a security man stopping people from entering. This is now an operation that happens when you get in. This is kind of like the prize you get for winning because you accomplish something properly. So now we can check if operation was 1, then we will print out a message that says the sum is, and then we combine this message with a calculation, which is why we need the semicolon here, and we put in the calculations between value 1 and value 2, and note we will perform an addition, so we put the addition sign. Else, meaning if the operation isn't 1, else is used for anything else. as the word states. Even if it was 55, it would have come into this else. But that's not the case for us because we have our block that checks for 55 before we even enter this section of the code. So I can safely assume that if operation is not 1, then any other value that's stored in operation at this point has to be 2. It can't be anything else because of this checker right here. I could have went ahead and put it in manually still, and this would still work. I could run it, I could press 2, enter, 25 minus 3, that should give me 22, and I still get the answer. I can go ahead and remove this, run the program, still put 25, whoops, that was for the option 2 first because you can only enter 2 or 1 from your choice. Now I'll put in the 25 minus 3, and then the difference is still 22 because 2 is not 1 in this case, so it has to be the operation other than 1. If I had put 2 here, then I would have had to put the difference printing in this block, and I would have to take the sum and put it in the else block. But we check for 1 instead of 2, so anything other than 1 just has to be 2. And all of this is thanks to this little security check that we did beforehand. And why did we do this beforehand? Because if the person enters an operation that doesn't exist, such as 55, why will we waste their time and ask them for values when we're not going to do anything with them anyways, right? So if we're not going to do anything with the values, don't waste your users' time. Check ahead of time if they even started it correct. If they didn't start correct, then don't waste your time, don't waste their time. Just tell them that's an invalid option. Alright, so let's move over to the Microsoft Word. So your assignment is to just do the flow chart. Alright, do the flow chart that represents this. Of course, this flow chart you will need to start using the diamond shape because that's the shape we use for decisions. So let me start you guys off. I'm gonna start with your start shape, and I'm gonna give you guys a little shortcut. You see all of these prints up here? I'm gonna go ahead and allow you guys to shortcut it and only use one of the input output shapes. So go ahead and do something like this. Print, and you could start with this program dot dot dot, and we're gonna just put enter choice because that's how we can shortcut instead of putting in 5 entire shapes. I understand it's kind of tedious. Oops, I'm supposed to just move it there. So I'll give you guys this shortcut. Alright, you only have to do subtraction and addition. If not, this flowchart will get really huge because of all the if else, if else, if else. So once we've done this, we're gonna go ahead, right click, drag, let go, right click, copy here. We will put the input. The reason why we have to put the input is because it's different from a print. We could get away with this shortcut because all 4 lines were prints except for the input. The input is a different operation there. So 5 lines were print, so we just say this program dot 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 all the way to enter choice. So that's our little shortcut there. Number 7, we put input because input is a different kind of action that happens, but it uses the same shape. So the operation is the person's choice. Now, right after the choice is when we have our first decision because nobody have time for that. So we go ahead. I'm gonna put this around here, and I'm gonna put the comparison. Right click, add text. Is operations greater than 2? Not sure, but I can tell you what happens when it is. Put an arrow there. I'm gonna right click and put this here, and I'm working with limited space, guys, so do me a favor when you're doing your assignment, try and orient the shapes a little bit cleaner than that for me. Alright, so we tell them it's an invalid option, and of course we have to double click up here on the arrow and say that this is when it's true. Is operations greater than 2? In the code, if the operation is greater than 2, then, well, we do this, invalid option, right? And then after that, our code literally says end. So we're gonna copy this one and we end it, just like that. Alright, again, you'll need arrows pointing properly, right? Gonna copy this one and just do that. Alright, please make your flowcharts look better than mine. I'm trying to just get this done as fast as possible for the video's sake, so it doesn't go too long. Alright, so that's the first check. Now what happens if the operations is greater than 2 but it's false? What if it happens if it's not greater than 2? Well, we actually go right into the next branch and check. Is operations greater than 2? No, it's not greater than 2. Else, well, let us check. Is operation less than 1? And we do the same thing. Let me just change this. Instead of greater than 2, we're doing less than 1. Now we're gonna put the true over here. I'm gonna put it downwards a bit. So is operations less than 1? If that's true, I'm gonna pretty much keep that message there because it is invalid. Copy here, and we copy this arrow here, and so now we have our code flowing in order based on the flow chart. So what happens if operation is not less than 1? Well, we continue on to line 17. So I'm gonna borrow this arrow right here. I'm gonna point it on that shape. I'm gonna point it down here. So the reason why I positioned the trues to the right hand and left hand side is so that we can end it on the outer margins and we can continue on to the middle area of the flow of the document. So I'm gonna shortcut this as well, print, and then obviously this isn't the right way, but ain't nobody got time for that, so we're just gonna say enter value value 2. You guys could do this for this example, for this assignment I mean. Alright, I'm gonna accept it, and then we do input, and then inputs do not have the double quotes, so we're gonna put value 1 space comma value 2. Alright, there's a little shortcut. Again, this isn't the right way really to represent the code because the code alternates between the print and the input, print and input, but like I said, just for the sake of time, we know what you mean. We have the code. You're not gonna do this in real life, obviously. If you're working as an IT professional, please don't do this. Don't say I told you to do it. I'm telling you guys, full disclaimer, this is not how you do it, but for the sake of time and to simplify our flowchart a little bit, we're gonna do it like this. And then after we enter value 2, we finalize with our last if-else structure there. So I'll finish up for you guys. You're welcome. Actually, don't need to go there. I'm just gonna copy that. Copy that. This time it's not operation less than 1, it's if operation is 1. So I'm gonna make that into an equal sign. I'm gonna copy this little one here. I'm gonna point it down this way. And if it's true, if operation 1 is true, then we do addition. So I'm just gonna put print, and then sum is ... and then you know the answer, right? Value 1 plus value 2, and then we end the program. I'm just gonna use the same end, so I'm gonna go ahead and copy this arrow, point it over this side here. This time it's what if operation is not equals to 1? Well, we know that 1 is subtraction. I'm just go ahead and put difference is ... value 1 minus value 2, right? So there you have it. Haha. Either way, it ends here, whether it's value 1 or 2. It prints out depending on what operation value is. Is it 1? Yes, then you add. Else, then you subtract. And that's your flowchart here. Send this to the class so you can copy. Guys, this is the video. Pause the video. Copy that way. That's the whole point of having the videos on demand, so that you can rewatch them as much as you want. So let me go ahead and show you this. Pause video here, copy flowchart, then scroll down, pause video here, copy flowchart. Alright, so I'm gonna save this. Actually, this is assignment for day 3 for us. Name, class, save it on the desktop. Alright, remember, I'm not setting any due dates. This is due. Try to get this done before Easter. I'm gonna start checking all of these information on Easter around, well, next week Sunday basically, just to see who has done it. I'm gonna start checking them next week Sunday, so you got enough time to rewatch the videos, do the assignments, post them up in the form. Let's see. Alright, didn't get any work from you today, Tyler. I don't know if you meant the last assignment. Yep, I got an assignment from you last class. Alright, so I have an announcement to make. Actually, I've already posted it on the other classrooms, but starting next week, I think I already talked about it a little bit, but starting next week, I'm gonna just pre-record one video for each form. It's still gonna be posted like this: video day 3, assignment day 3. So next week is gonna be video day 4 and assignment day 4. But I'm basically removing the live stream portion of the videos. So the videos won't be live anymore. They're gonna be recorded videos, and that's good for you guys in a way, because you don't have to be present at this time. You could just watch the video when you want or when you can, and then you could just submit the assignment whenever. The reason why I decided to change is because a lot of people come late for these videos, and that makes them have to rewatch the video anyways. So I might as well just post a pre-recorded video for everybody. It's also good for me, I'm not gonna lie, because I just need to record one video instead of having to live stream every day during all the classes. For me, I feel like I'm still in school because every day during the same class times I'm online, I'm talking. So moving for next week, alright? Next week we're not gonna have the live streams. I'm just gonna record one video. I'm gonna name it probably third form day 6 or video day 6 or day 4 actually, and just link the same video for all the third formers that I teach. So remember that it's not gonna be live, so I can't really read these comments that you guys post. So that's the drawback with the recorded videos. But comment, as my comment says, I'll be online every day from 8:30 to 11 a.m. Between those times, try and message me on the classroom or send me an email, because having you guys have to come online at a specific time, it's kind of tiring both for you and me, you know. So every day at least we can have an online morning kind of back and forth chat if you guys have any questions, and you could do the work whenever you feel like it, right? Whether it's today, tomorrow, and then you don't have to meet with me at 2:27 on Fridays and so forth, right? So I'm gonna end the video there. I'll try and see if I could find a free online platform for us to talk live. Alright, so I really like the live chat feature here because I can answer questions, but I'm gonna go online and look for a live chat place so we could just live chat. So between 8:30 and 11, I'll include a link, or I'll try and find a room that we could just chat. Videos will already be up, and if you have any questions, then anytime, any day between Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 11 a.m. You could just go into the chat room and maybe we try and chat there. It's just an idea, that chat room thing. I need to go and research which one is the best one to use. A lot of I know a lot of you guys might use Discord, right? Servers to chat on. I'm gonna decide, right? I'm gonna do a research and decide which one is the easiest one and the fastest one to get up and running, right? Alright guys, thanks for joining me today. Thanks for being present. I really appreciate it. I'll appreciate it even more if you do the assignments though, right? So enjoy your weekend guys, stay safe, sanitize, social distancing, you know the drill, don't get sick. Alright? Alright guys, you have a good weekend. Peace out.